I'm the new CEO of Manulife Myanmar and extremely delighted to be here. Just before coming to Myanmar, I was the CEO of BIDV MetLife, which is a joint venture between BIDV Bank and MetLife from the US in Vietnam. And based out of Hanoi, we were a very fast-paced and a fast-growing life insurance company. And after joining Manulife in Feb 2023, this is my first posting as the CEO, and looking forward to creating new benchmarks and developing this industry forward in Myanmar. I've spent almost all my professional life in life insurance and done a variety of roles within life insurance. And when I was looking at the opportunity in Myanmar with Manulife, one of the first things that stands out is the opportunity to make a difference in this market, in the lives of 55 million plus customers, in a market which insurance has not developed as much as it should have. So there is a lot of opportunity for companies, global companies like Manulife, to really develop this industry further and make a difference in the lives of the customers. That's really what excited me, because having again spent so much of time in life insurance, when you think of a market which has a lot to catch up on with very small penetration level of 0.1%, I think it's best fitting for a professional like me to contribute in whatever way possible to the development of the industry and to really get this wonderful product of life insurance, which is so important for families, to millions of families in Myanmar. I think that's a very important and a relevant question. And one of the biggest challenges that we have in Myanmar is the low awareness of life insurance products, life insurance as a concept. Most families don't know about it, and they don't know how to talk about it to the professionals. So the biggest challenge for us as an industry is to really have that awareness go up from the current levels. And the only way the awareness can go up is by having a stronger distribution network. More financial advisors are needed in this market who can sit across with families, sit across with people across Myanmar and talk about the relevance of life insurance and why the families need to look at life insurance for their confidence building, as well as protecting their family's future and unprecedented circumstances. So developing the distribution and developing the advisor network is extremely important for this industry to develop further. Today, as we look at it, we have about 8,000 financial advisors in the market in a population of 55 million people. And if I just compare this with the previous market where I was in Vietnam, with about 100 million people, you have about 1 million financial advisors. So, just as a back of the envelope calculation, every 100 customers have access to one financial advisor to discuss about their financial needs as well as life insurance. So we have a long way to go in Myanmar to really make this as a household phenomena where customers and families can get access to one financial advisor and talk about their needs. The second bit is also, as this industry develops, there is a stronger need for making sure that this industry develops in a responsible manner, particularly from a customer's viewpoint. So as we develop products, as we develop more complex products, as we expand our distribution network, it needs to be done in a very, very responsible manner. And I want to give an example. Insurance products start with very simplistic endowment, term life, purely protection products, but they can very quickly become complex for average customers to understand. And the role of the financial advisor is therefore extremely critical, and the financial advisor needs to spend time with the insurance industry, understanding the product, and really making sure that the advisor stays with the customer through the life of the policy. And insurance products tend to be very long term in nature. Most of the products that we sell are a minimum of 10 years. And what we really encourage our financial advisors to do is to have a 10-year horizon with the customer and being with them through the entire life cycle of the policy. So making sure we have a great distribution strength, and at the same time making sure that the advisors have a long-term vision of being with the customer over the long term is extremely critical. And from a Manulife perspective, I'm very happy as I start to manage this business. We have the best persistency where the customers actually believe in the product and they continue to pay the renewal premium year on year, giving their confidence and vote of giving the vote of confidence to the products that they have bought. So that is what I would like to see that the industry does in the long term in Myanmar. We have been in operation for a little over 3 years, and in this time, Manulife has been able to attract very good talent in Myanmar. And while attracting good talent in Myanmar, we've also been able to invest in that talent for the long run. And a large part of that is also given by the fact that Manulife has a very, very strong presence across Asia. So as we are building our franchise in Myanmar, we are able to tap into some of the capabilities and talents that we have in Asia. A lot of Myanmar people, the employees that we have in Myanmar, have had the chance to go and see Manulife operation and learn from those Manulife operations in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Hong Kong. And that's really helped in really improving their capability in a very, very short span of time. And we believe that that process has to be continued. We also make investments in the learning of the people here, for example, sponsoring them for courses of Loma, also helping them learn from their peers within the organization through a mentor-mentee program. And we continue to build our team of highly young, enthusiastic people. And I think the first thing we look for when we are hiring people is their enthusiasm and motivation to be in life insurance, and also being very agile to learn from the other operations outside of Myanmar, which is, I think, one of the key foundations of our people culture, and which will also help us in retaining the people and developing the people for serving a bigger business in the time to come. I think the big part of this communication is done through our distribution network, and our constant endeavor is to be able to transmit our values, transmit our culture through our distribution network. So today we have almost close to 700 advisors. We have a fast growing network of bank assurance through our 100 plus insurance consultants that we have deployed across the country. And they are as much a part of our culture, as much a part of our values as all of us sitting in Yangon are. And my experience is that if they understand what you stand for, the values that you stand for, and are able to participate in that process equally passionately, then the job of at an organization level, the job becomes much simpler. So our constant source of engagement, our constant source of motivation to them is extremely critical when we have to make sure that the customer is able to feel the same level of confidence that we want the customer to feel. Myanmar consumers, families, and the breadwinners are fairly young in their age, and I'm told that the median age is about 29. And I see that in our employee force, which is very young. Most of them are in their early 30s, just starting their families. And I would, in terms of advice, I would ask them to ask themselves three questions. The number one question is a little hard one, but it's something that everybody should ask if you are a breadwinner in a family. That today, if I am not there, will my family be as secured financially as they are today while I am here? So if you remove yourself from the picture, what is it that your family would need in terms of financial resources to maintain the same standard of living that they currently have? Of course, the emotional part of it cannot be addressed, but financially, it is our responsibility as breadwinners to really ask that question from ourselves. What would it take for my family to maintain the same standard of living if I was not there because of some reason? Number two is also something that everybody hopes, that if I'm there 10 years, 20 years down, what is it that my money can do to help me lead a better or a more confident life? So if I'm still living, will I have enough or more resources than what I would need for my child, for my wife, for my own self, etc. So how is it that you can enhance your money over a longer period of time? So long-term savings is the second bit. And the third bit, which is an emerging bit now, is given certain health conditions which can happen to anyone in the family, and you would want nothing but the best in terms of treatment for the family. Would the family be able to afford, if somebody was to, let's say, get a good treatment for maybe some sort of a cancer in Thailand or in Singapore or anywhere else? So it would put a drain on your resources. So therefore, you should be prepared to fund those through some means without really bringing down your lifestyle or without dipping into your own savings, which you have saved for your child's education or your retirement. So number one, make sure that you prepare for a bad eventuality. If you are not there, how would your family maintain the same level of living? Number two, if you do live, then how can you multiply your resources? How can you make sure that you have more savings than what you would need? And number three, if there was a eventuality in terms of health, how would you protect it in terms of financial resources? So buying a life insurance for protection, buying a life insurance for long-term savings, and buying a life insurance for health is something that everybody should think as a responsibility towards their families. So while Manulife is a global organization, when it comes into a market like Myanmar, we do understand that we have to adapt to the local culture. We also have to identify stakeholders as well as communities where we can make a positive difference. And we continue to do that. Even though we are fairly new in Myanmar, we have already started to look at potential partnerships with the communities where we would like to make a difference. And I would share two examples to illustrate that. Number one is our partnership with the Down Syndrome Association, where we very proudly participate and work with the foundation, with the association as well as the children of the association. Our employees give up a lot of their time to spend with the children. I myself have done that over the last few months that I've been there. And also on the environment side, we see a lot of opportunities where we can partner and make a positive difference. So sustainability and environment is something again very close to Manulife's values. Recently I was at the Kotong beach where we planted corals. We are trying to propagate the coral plantation in an area which has been disturbed because of global warming, etc. So these are small efforts and eventually will lead to some results, but at the same time we are very proud to be continuing to do that in the next few years, and you will hear more as we do that more in Myanmar in the coming time.